All right. And we are back with the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. We recently talked about WrestleMania Night 1 and Night 2. All this possible storylines and possible future championship matches we can see with new crown champions and how their appeal to the WWE roster is a little more like practical as opposed to like a champion like Gunther or Roman Reigns. And we recently talked about how Cody finished his story, kind of how he was viewed by the WWE universe, and kind of his rise to back to the WWE. So that was super awesome. Next, we're going to talk about my man, definitely on my ring of not ring of honor, my Mount Rushmore of amazing wrestlers, Triple H or Paul Levesque. So Triple H was a complete badass. He was kind of like that, like he's gonna go by his own rules and like not follow what Vince McMahon has to do. He was kind of like that antagonist after the Austin era. After that Austin era, where he would cross the boss and he would, mess with Vince McMahon and stuff like that. Ultimately, to be kind of like put in a position for him to succeed. And so, yeah, honestly, um, it's like I said before, um, during this podcast about Stephanie McMahon coming out night two to address the WWE universe, where you kind of wish that her father was out there, kind of saying goodbye on his own terms, but due to unprecedented circumstances, it just wasn't meant to be. He couldn't leave on a good note with TKO, so now you have Triple H taking over. Vince was forced to resign. And Cody Rhodes even called it the redemption era, which, I kind of agree with. I think a lot of people like they kind of lost interest in the WWE, especially with all this, with the allegations constantly happening. Settlements, $15 million to, I think it was like up to like 10 different women in the WWE, and it was just like a mess, like. And then you had stars in and out. People left like Aleister Black and Keith Lee, and they're like, man, like what happened to these good NXT stars that we look forward to seeing on the main brand? But once when they made it to the main brand, Vince McMahon really didn't know what to do. He didn't really know how to like use those characters into the contemporary storylines of either shows of Raw and SmackDown. So I don't know. It's kind of I'm looking forward to seeing it, and it kind of like I said, I was a huge Vince McMahon fan growing up. He did a lot for WWE. We can't bury our heads in the ground and be like sure, he has the bad stuff like a lot of people do, especially in entertainment business and stuff like that. But he also helped the Attitude Era grow. Vince McMahon helped the Attitude Era. He also put Stone Cold Steve Austin over, and he made that feud with Stone Cold Steve Austin entertaining as hell to watch. And then he also did just enough to win the Monday Night Wars, where where WCW could have very much they were kicking the WWE's butt in the rankings, and Vince McMahon did just enough just to beat out his competition. And you know who would have known? Who would have known what the WWE would have become if WCW would have absorbed it? Um, Also, you had the implementation of the WWE network. A lot of people thought the network wasn't a good idea, but Vince overall, was able to, kind of like some people are good like when it comes to inside the ring, and some people are good when it comes to like the conference room and stuff like that, where you're a good talker, you're smooth, you're able to like like a businessman. Like he was able to be a good businessman, so he was able to do that and make the WWE network work. And he also inserted himself into storylines. Like there was a couple of times like with that street fight with Shawn Michaels, where and him and Shane came out to fight DX, Hell in a Cell, like where they would just get the crap beat out of him, man. Like, and he didn't have to do that. These guys were millionaires. Like they could have just sat back and just watched their money, like watch their bank account go. "Blah, blah, 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 blah." But instead, like they're like, you know what? We have to help this product. Like this is our baby. So that's why they came out and they did what they did, and it was pretty cool. And another good thing that Shane really did was, or that Vince did, was choose Triple H instead of Shane. he did give the keys to Shane for a little bit, but a lot of the storylines that he created, like I think Retribution was one of them, and I think the WWE Underground, where there was like fighters, and I think that was no, I don't think it was. But anyways, and it just wasn't really working out. I don't think Shane really had that much of a creative mind, so he essentially went to Paul Levesque, Stephanie's husband, who's been in the ring, who knows, what these guys go through and how to communicate with them. The more and more a boss could effectively communicate with his employees in any given business situation, it's going to do really well. It's going to do very, very well. Like, of course, you have to have that like hierarchy of you kind of have that, you kind of a little bit of a power distance, but sometimes it's good to kind of, that's why a lot of companies like promote within, because you put in a lot of time on the lower, like on, and you work yourself, you bust your ass, and you deserve it. And that's what Triple H has done. Like a lot of people are like, oh, he just married the boss's daughter and stuff like that. I don't agree with that at all. At all. Like he came out to the WWE. He busted his ass in wrestling matches. He would fight sometimes twice a night, like 3 times, 4 times a week. And he carried the WWE. He was like that bad guy where he did where he was with the Generation X, or where he was with the McMahon Helmsley era, and where he had that on stage fight with Stephanie McMahon, and also like he was like he did Evolution with Randy Orton, Dave Batista, and he also feuded with John Cena, and that kind of helped John Cena get on the map. So Triple H really paid his dues, and he really did all he could to promote the company and kind of help these young stars flourish. And to be honest, a lot of these guys are, knocking on the door of the WWE Hall of Fame, all thanks to Paul Levesque. So, kudos to him. Um, and the last thing we will talk about is Vince McMahon creating WrestleMania. Obviously, it's become this spectacle. It started, as it is now, all because of Vince McMahon. He put in, WrestleMania 1 could have much been the final nail in the coffin for WWE. The ratings weren't that great. And then Vince McMahon came up with this. Actually, he actually didn't come up with the name WrestleMania. He talked to a guy, and he was like, "Oh, it's like a WrestleMania and stuff like that." And that's where Vince got the idea. But he eventually got wrestlers from all promotions, kind of like an all-star game. And he brought all this talent together, and obviously pop culture icons like Muhammad Ali came in, and Cyndi Lauper, and just made it into what it is now. And so every single time you watch WrestleMania, and you kind of have that like that excitement. Like I know, like Thursday and Friday, went all week, to be honest. Like I would watch like commercials for WrestleMania, and I'd be like, oh my god. And then you would get the heebie jeebies and stuff like that. You get the butterflies in your stomach, and you're like, oh my god, I can't wait. And it's over, which is sad. But I'm excited to watch Monday Night Raw. After this podcast, this Triple H coming. I'm excited. Like this is super cool as a wrestling fan. Sometimes, sometimes when what is the saying? How does it go? Sometimes when you're out of your comfort zone, you kind of establish, or you kind of reach these abilities that you never knew you had. And I think that right now WWE kind of has that that unpredictability, kind of like the Attitude Era. And you're like, oh yeah, this can happen. Because to be honest, I don't know who's going to challenge Damian Priest. I don't know who's going to be the first one to confront Cody Rhodes. Probably The Rock. But I don't know who Rhea Ripley's her next opponent's going to be. And I think that's kind of like what you saw in the past with the Vince McMahon product slash, with the Shane McMahon. Like, it was just predictable. It was predictable. You can tell, like, oh, okay, WrestleMania, but, it's going to continue in this, this and that and the other. But I think for the first time in a long time, and that was kind of the reason why I stopped watching wrestling, was because it was so damn predictable, man. Like, night in, night out, just the same stuff. And you're like, man, why am I even watching this? And I took a step away from wrestling for like a good 5 years. And then I started watching it as soon as, Seth Rollins was there when they brought the Universal Championship, where Finn Balor got injured and had to, my very first episode of Monday Night Raw, when I got back into it, was that match to where Triple H he pedigreed Seth Rollins, and Seth Rollins thought that Triple H was going to help him win, but he helped Kevin Owens ultimately win, and then that was when Chris Jericho and him were like the best friends, where he had the list of Jericho. Anyways, but I don't know. All in all, I'm excited. I'm pretty damn excited for Triple H. So, and also something that Triple H said in an interview with Pat McAfee was that he has no intentions of inserting himself into the storylines. He had a cardiac event in his life that kind of put him on the shelf and kind of like man, I don't think I can do this anymore. I don't want to wrestle. I can't do this. I have a family and stuff like that. So, and he said, like, and I quote, "I've always enjoyed the behind the scenes aspect of creative." Which is exactly what he's going to be doing. And he's been doing a damn good job so far. So there's not a doubt in my mind that Triple H, this new Paul Levesque era, is probably going to be one of the best eras of modern wrestling, compared to the Attitude Era. It's going to be special. It's going to be super special. And honestly, I'm excited to see it. Like, Triple H is a badass. Like, he's one of my favorite wrestlers. And there might be a little biasy there, but I don't know. Like, I think he's going to do really well, and I'm excited to watch Monday Night Raw. No, Monday Night Raw. So I hope I will be doing live reactions to Monday Night Raw on YouTube. So make sure you check out those YouTube shorts. But anyways, thank you for tuning into the Wrestling Laureate Podcast, presented to you by the GSMC Sports Network. Your support means a lot to us, so please remember to Superman punch that like and subscribe button and leave a positive review for the show. We love peace, love, and positivity at the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast, so it really does make a difference, guys. Also, follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, or /X, or Facebook for more content and updates. So also check out some of the shows we got, here in sports. We have baseball, basketball, football. Watch the Andrew Tate show. Um, here at the GSMC network, we just have, podcasts and we have, we're an entertainment conglomerate. It's pretty cool. So, give that a look see. I'm a fan. I'm a huge fan of some of the podcasts I see from the other guys doing. So honestly, I think you guys will like it. You know, so once again, thank you. Thank you so much. It was nice to see everybody again, and have a phenomenal day.